All right, everybody, welcome back to coverage here of the U.S. Regional Championship in San Diego. My name is Corey Baumeister. That's DeQuan Watson. We're going to be bringing you coverage here of our backup match that we're going to be joining at game number 3. And let me tell y'all, this is a spicy one. We got some cool deck lists here. Let's take a look at our first player, Sam Black's Boros Midrange here. Boros Midrange, I think, is firmly in that other category, DeQuan. Talk to me about this deck.
Yeah, now let me say first off, like if we see something from Sam Black and it's ever just like pedestrian to the field, you get disappointed. So it's cool that he actually brought something what we would expect to be different. But this is real heavy on the control elements, right? We're playing all the ossifications. We're playing both of the Wandering Emperor variants, right? We've got Elspeth. Like this is really just slowing the opponent down so you can hit some huge spells later in the game to take over. And once you take over, you probably stay in front.
And the one thing I'm seeing here is the interaction between Bitter Reunion and Sanctuary Warden. If you can ever, with 7 mana, go Sanctuary Warden, sack, give it haste, draw a bunch of cards, put in a bunch of tokens, that's what I want to see. That just seems absolutely awesome to me. So, all right, let's check out Sam Black's opponent here. We got Cody Childers. And we got Esper Legends again. Talk to us about this deck, DeQuan.
I feel like we've seen this a few times today, and we're going to keep seeing it. But this one actually has a little werewolf hiding out in the list, which is a little bit of different touch. And we are playing Gix in this list. I believe these were kind of different variants from the other list we saw earlier.
Definitely.
So
yep.
It'd be pretty fun to see how these interactions work with getting all those extra cards.
Yeah, agreed. Definitely a little bit different list, but a matchup that we haven't seen so far. So let's get into game number 3 here of round 2 between these two players that are at 1-0.
Yeah, and again, we are dropping in here to a third game, so it looks like they've already sideboarded, and we're going to kick this game off here.
All right. This is going to be awesome. I'm excited. So it looks like we do have one mulligan from Sam, and possibly keeping from Cody here.
All right, we're cracking a land early to go search. Oh, well, you played it on the bottom, so you know it was there. Sam doesn't have time for anything but efficiency, apparently.
Yep, exactly. Love those basics as well. Those look really cool.
Yeah, one of the best parts about the new unset, for sure.
Yep, agreed. I'm still a big fan of the John Avon lands that we've been kind of seeing all day on coverage. Those are my faves, but wow, those are a close second. Those are gorgeous.
And, you know, just like we were talking about earlier, that Esper Legends that got out an early Skrelv, and it did not get dealt with.
Yep. And
this is tough because you have Sam playing a lot of cards, like we're saying, like ossification and such, that need to target things to get rid of them.
Yeah, totally agree. Slightly different with having some wrath effects like depopulate, farewell. We'll see how much of that Sam actually brought in. But wow, yeah, there is quite a bit of sweepers in Sam's list. This list is wild. I like it.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you expect you're going to see a lot of Esper Legends, and you know, outside of maybe some make disappears on the sideboard, they don't have a ton of answers for you, could be the right way to go this weekend.
Absolutely.
There's that Bitter Reunion.
Draw a couple cards here.
All right. So that was kind of a pretty simple turn. Not a lot of action here in the early goings on the first couple of turns, but not to be surprised with the type of deck that Sam is playing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, you know, mono white mid-range pretty much with a couple of differences here. We've seen Orzhov mid-range, for instance, you know, that just splash black for Kaya. This is in a similar vein, just splashing for a couple of red cards. So these mid-range matchups will be pretty slow, though. They will be a bit of a grind. So something to get used to from these decks.
And Cody did find a Rafine on time there. Chose not to attack with the Skrelv, likely just to further protect the Rafine.
Yep, protecting Rafine more important than Skrelv getting in there, drawing an extra card, probably being forced to loot away a spell just to make sure it doesn't trade with the ambitious farmhand.
And another farmhand. So we now have a matching set. And honestly, I think the only time Cody might actually attack there is if you just really had a bad hand, right? You're just looking for cards, but I don't think we're in that position right now.
Yep, 100% agree.
And there's one of those ossifications which has to target the Skrelv just to open up the door for other things.
Yeah, and I mean, with that ossification, if Scrub would have got in there, it would have taken Sam Black 3 mana to deal with Rafine, but still something he would have been very happy to do. So it seems to me like the correct play from Cody for sure to leave that back.
All right, so what are we going to follow up with here from Cody's side? Tapping 3 for something.
Okay, there's Gix.
All right. So you get the 1 free card from Rafine there. Cody didn't look too excited by that draw. He must be looking for something and didn't draw it.
Yeah, so there is the other Gix that goes away to put a counter on Rafine. And then once this deals damage, you will get a trigger from Gix to draw a card, lose a life. Now, this ability is universal, though. So, you know, if you just want to attack with 2 ambitious farmhand, Sam could draw a card as well.
No, those are.
No, it is opponents. Never mind. Excuse me. Yeah. I've been playing too much Commander, where I'll attack someone else. There we go.
No, this is a really easy spot there for Cody because his life total almost doesn't matter in this matchup, right? Like, if you're in a situation where your life total matters, the game's already probably so far along that Sam's just coming over with a couple of big things.
Yeah. Yeah, not something Cody has to really worry about, and not something that really any deck has to worry about against these mid-range decks. You know, there's plenty of pain lands in the metagame in general that can be a problem, but I totally agree with you. Not in this matchup that much.
All right, so Sam's going to go search for planes here. And I'm kind of looking at his yard. There's not any real value to get next turn, but we can discard something to get into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And wow, Restoration of a Ganjo, if you ever, I mean, one play that Sam can do is just end step sacrifice Bitter Reunion to be able to bring back Bitter Reunion to get that free loot for chapter 2. Wow, I didn't really think of what a combination. Restoration of a Ganjo, already very powerful card, how well it works with Bitter Reunion. So, you know, believe it or not, I think Sam Black has planned that piece of interaction out, and Sam is one of the best deck builders, kind of our generation as well. So, really cool spice from this.
Yeah, I would say if anybody knows anything about Sam, he probably thought about that before he even put the deck list together.
Yeah, I will still say one of my favorite brews that I've seen from Sam Black was the first Modern Pro Tour where he had Summer Bloom Titan, you know, that just absolutely kind of wrecked the metagame there. He had a Blazing Shoal Infect deck, which also kind of broke the metagame at different tournaments. So Sam's done this a lot.
All right, so Cody turns both creatures sideways, getting in there for 5 so far. We'll see how many spells we actually discard here.
Okay, we'll see what that's targeting as well to make which creature bigger. Goes for Rafine.
A Skreld and a land.
Probably something to consider if there was 3 power that would have Gix fall here, but now you get another trigger from Gix, and so far Gix has looked fantastic.
And also, don't forget, if you end up with all these extra cards in hand, Gix does have another ability to let you play some cards off the top of your opponent's library.
Yes.
And Cody's not missing land drops here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't see that come up too often, but it is just 7 mana, not too far away from it.
All right, so we have a Kaito, which I assume it's just going to draw a card here.
Yep, more than likely. And Kaito's just awesome. I love this card so much, especially in this matchup. You know, there's plenty of other matchups where it's really good as well. Domain Control being another one where it's just really tricky to deal with planeswalkers in general. You know, I mean, there's even some Rakdos lists with Ob Nixilis and Liliana and stuff, something we don't see a lot of because they are just really tough to deal with from certain decks.
Yeah, and I also want to say something else, like watching Cody's play here, he's being very deliberate about which lands he wants tapped and doesn't. He's not being, you know, willy-nilly. He's particularly sorting things out and saying, okay, let me double check all the time.
Yeah, totally agreed.
And as you easily predicted, there comes that Bitter Reunion again.
I love it. I love it. Just the free value there. I'm a fan. And it's tapped, of course.
That's true. It does technically come in tapped. Yeah, now they're saying, okay, technically Kaito's also phased out. Like, you
Yep.
can't attack him.
Does phase out, and that's relevant. Most of the time, that would not be relevant against one of these mid-range decks, but with Bitter Reunion having that ability to give creatures haste, something like Sarah Paragon could actually deal with it. And let's see what we got. We got the Warden. Warden is a phenomenal Magic card. We'll see if Cody has an answer to that, but that is a absolute haymaker here. There is 2 Disdainful Strokes in Cody's sideboard, so that would just be the best answer here.
Yeah, I think we refer to
Cody
that angel as she is a unit. She is quite big.
I like it. And yeah, if there was one more mana, Warden could have attacked this turn and got another trigger to draw another card. So the synergies with Bitter Reunion, the more and more I just look at Sam's deck, the more that card makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, this deck is really interesting. I like it. We are getting in there for one now that we have just a pile of other defense. It doesn't really matter here.
We're starting to see a nice crowd of people surround the feature match area, which is just an awesome sight. I must say, always fun to see, but also probably leading me to believe they're getting somewhat close on time based on, how long these games have probably went.
And this is kind of what we were talking about, right? The life total doesn't matter for Cody until it does, right? It's kind of like where we're at here, where you did lose a few drawing some cards, but now you're starting to get nicked a little bit. There's a big angel on the other side. Now things are going to start becoming a little bit of an issue.
Totally agree. Yeah, this is a problem. Now Cody has to figure a way to deal with that gigantic Warden, because just as it stands right now, Kaito is not going to fully do it. And now having to draw and discard instead of what you would like to do with Kaito is attack first and then do it, but just shows that there's not a great answer to that Warden. And a quick glance at the hand there for Cody, I saw a lot of lands.
Yeah, now I would say you could have attacked there with Rafine if you just wanted to get an attack in, but you would be opening yourself up to taking 5.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have lost it to the angel. The angel would have lost the shield, but I don't even know if Sam would even want to block there, to be honest.
Yeah, that just leads me to believe that Cody had a lot of extra cards that didn't necessarily matter type thing. So that was a big turn off from Cody. Sam's got to be elated about that.
Yeah, have to be, right? We had all that mana, has potential access to 3 or 4 extra cards that turn, and effectively just passed, saw 1 extra card.
Yeah, and Sam has the ability with the flip side of Restoration of Aganjo to give that haste, which will then create another attacker as well.
And there's another ossification.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Sam could really flip the switch here pretty quickly. Now, there is Plaza of Heroes to prevent this. So, this feels like it's kind of like bait at this point.
Yeah.
Because the Plaza is available to protect it.
Yeah, didn't want to blow that up. And Cody may just have another plan for the mana, too.
Yep, must be maybe an Urtai, something like that. Does have a couple of those in the 75.
But I imagine Sam feels pretty good here because you're not really under pressure. You're at 16 life. You're amassing quite a board here.
Yeah. This was looking really good for Cody after that Kaito hit the battlefield, and then all of a sudden Sanctuary Warden just really changed the texture of this game so quickly.
Yeah, and Sam's going to have another card coming because he's got 2 mana open here, looks like. So we're going to get a card off of the Bank Buster in the next turn cycle. So yeah, this is starting to get a little rough for Cody.
Totally agree. Yeah, there's just a ton of power on Sam's battlefield as well, so...
Actually, we're also at a situation where we could flip farmhand now if we wanted to.
Yep. You can flip farmhand, doing a check on the clock here. And yeah, not using your mana at all if you're Cody here and not activating Plaza feels really strange. Of course, we don't see exactly what's in hand. We do see an Otawara. I believe that is a negate.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Otawara bouncing the angel.
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough, right? Because it doesn't really do anything, but you kind of have to do something, right? You can't just pass the turn. You know what I mean? They can't do nothing there. It's like that's a bad feeling.
It was also interesting that Sam didn't decide to pressure Kaito at all. Just recognize, like, I'm not afraid of that. It's not anywhere near ultimate yet. You can loot. You can't really attack into me. So an interesting decision. So in response to
Yeah.
shielded, draw a card so you don't lose any extra life.
Yep. Draw that card first. Going up on Kaito again. So we're just going to draw and discard.
And Kaito's ultimate is at 7. So not anything to worry about too soon, but a couple of turns down the way.
And a Skrelv.
And the Skrelv, and it looks like 2 mana left open with that negate. And, you know, it looks like Cody has 2 Disdainful Stroke, 1 negate as the split. And it would just be so much better as a Disdainful Stroke in this particular situation. Both cards are great, you know, so I bring in all of them as well, but Disdainful Stroke for the Sanctuary Warden, a lot more impactful right now.
All right, Sam's just gonna take a moment. I think he's inventorying things, it looks like. And actually, we actually can't flip the farmhand now because we only have 2 different powers on the battlefield.
Yep.
Unless I guess we crew the Bank Buster, but you know.
Yeah, definite ways to do it. I think that'll be low on Sam's plan here. It's really, I think, Sam's recognizing, like, okay, did you bounce it because you have the Disdainful Stroke for me to replay the Sanctuary Warden? Or if Sam wants to play, like, let's say, 2 okay spells like Sarah Paragon plus, you know, a Restoration of a Ganjo, something like that, to not put all his eggs in one basket, just in case that Disdainful Stroke is there. And I believe we saw Angel of Wrath, I believe that is what it's called as well from the sideboard. Archangel of Wrath in the hand as well. So another powerful 4-drop.
Yeah, this is interesting because there's still a Shieldred on the other side, so you don't want to get into all the card drawing without an answer. But here we go with a 3/4, which will produce a token.
Okay. That's a very suspicious attack since Shieldred can, of course, get into it. So that should set off a lot of warnings for Cody if you want to block or not. And it looks like it just went at face as well. Didn't even attack Kaito. Interesting. Okay, so the Archangel was the reason why you could have just finished off Shieldred here.
Yeah, smart move. I mean, and when I'm in Cody's shoes and that happens, you always go like, what am I not seeing, right? Like, why are you attacking into this when you know I have a Shieldred staring you in the face?
Yep, and it is open deck list, so, you know, it is known that this is a thing, but, you know, the way it works, you look at deck lists in between sideboarding, and you don't get to just pull them out right now. So you kind of do have to remember all these little things. So it's not perfect. You don't have this list right in front of you, like we do right now, for instance, you know.
And Sam's board is absurd right now.
Yeah, it almost doesn't fit on camera.
I think we just made a Fable, so there's also a Goblin token over there now. We've got a 3/4 flyer with lifelink. We have 2 1/1 tokens, a 3/4 that produces tokens. We have a farmhand that we can flip. We also have the Bitter Reunion still hanging out over there, and a Bank Buster. So there are so many things happening right now.
Yeah, Sam really needs to progress his board a little bit more right now. That's one thing he's severely lacking in. Yeah, mana efficiency and advancing his board, something Sam's not doing right. I'm totally kidding. He's done that perfectly so far. I mean, look at this. This has been impressive.
All right, Sam's going to go to 14. Actually, I think Sam should probably be at 12 at this point. I don't know if the life totals are correct. But either way, he's in pretty good control of the situation here.
Yep, 100%.
And unless the Angel gets dealt with, there's some lifelink coming too.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The lifelink to just counteract this is going to be excellent. Now, there is a Kaito on 7, so that is probably the most important thing right now, is making sure this doesn't ultimate or just pressuring it in some way.
All right, we're going to try the Angel again, and it does get met with a Disdainful Stroke.
Okay, Disdainful Stroke found its way there. I believe there's still a negate as well, unless I saw that wrong from Cody's hand.
Another land there from Sam. And it looks like Sam's down to 1 card now, though we do have options for more.
Yeah, and now I think just pressuring at how or presenting how many creatures you need to attack Kaido. And if it's only one and there's a removal spell for it, you could still ultimate. Restoration of a Ganjo deals with that.
All right. So Sam's double checking here.
Or excuse me, Iganjo, Seat of the Empire.
All right, we pass. So we do have options of using Kaito here.
Okay. Kaito's ultimate for anyone at home. You get an emblem whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a blue or black creature and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. So, you know, it looks like Sam's just like, yeah, you can get that emblem, but good luck connecting with a creature. Yep. You know,
you are never getting that thing through.
But I mean, that is an impressive and powerful ability. Just go search for a Rafine, put it into play. Go search for a Shieldred, put it into play if you don't have one. So it's interesting to me that there wasn't maybe a bigger pressure of attacking Kaido a little bit early. It really leads me to believe that I don't think Sam cares about the ultimate on that.
Yeah, probably not. Additionally, we are going to be flipping to the reflection of Kikijiki next turn as well. So that does open up a few more options.
Yep, 100%. And, oh, man, and the reflection, the other side of Fable the Mirror Breaker, the more and more I look at Sam's deck, I find more cool interactions to Bitter Reunion. You can flip reflection and the same turn give it haste and then copy something like a, you know, Sanctuary Warden or something like that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
All right. So it looked like Sam was about to triple block and then decided he's just going to give up a token.
Okay.
And it may be because the Plaza of Heroes was there and he said, okay, well, I'd lose 3 things to effectively just cost you a land and some mana. So it's probably not worth it.
Okay, so we flip the farmhand here, but yeah, with Sam only having 1 card, you have the Bank Buster to represent some more cards. This battlefield is still relatively stable.
Yeah, and unless Cody has some really good cards in hand, like this does open up for some attacks here if Sam wants them. Oh, here comes an Elspeth.
Okay. If that wasn't a gate that I saw in hand earlier, which I thought it was, that alt 8, yeah, it's the perfect target for it.
Yeah, that could have really made things ugly.
For sure. And yeah, like you were saying earlier, Daquan, is we still got to remember the activation of Gix is still on the table at some point. So that card does have that extra text that normally we don't see very often.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and crack the Bitter Reunion to be able to have haste and copy something.
Okay. So trying to get a copy of this 3/3. I believe it does come in as a 3/3 and not the ambitious farmhand, the flip side.
Correct.
Okay, Urtide to just deal with the creature in response, it looks like.
Yep. And that might be just the card Cody needed here.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. Sam does have the option of crewing in response if you want.
Yep.
It's to draw a card out of it as well. But yeah, now all of a sudden, you know, that Bitter Reunion ability went away and the target you had for Reflection of Kikijiki. So now we're really seeing exactly the texture of Cody's hand this whole time. It was just very reactive. And now these reactional spells are really coming in handy. And, you know, all of a sudden this advantage bar definitely shifting closer to Cody's side, especially with a Kaido on 8.
Yeah, and let's not forget that though Sam did get a card there, that is 2 life still. So he goes down to 10.
And here's some attackers go. We'll see if they're at Kaido or just Cody. And, you know, some differences is depending on time, too. You know, if it's all going at Cody here, maybe they are getting close to time and neither of them wants to draw, and Sam's looking to close out the game instead of deal with the Planeswalker.
Yeah, and we do have tokens to block with, so it's not like a huge concern here just yet. But we'll see where this ends up going, because this is going to be a very tight finish. And again, Gix could just say, hey, let me see the top of your library. Give me a couple cards.
Yeah, discard cards if you don't like the ones you have. But it just really shows the power of Shieldred so far in this matchup, even though there is a ton of removal for Shieldred in these mid-range decks, not just the Boros mid-range, the mono white mid-range, which is, much more powerful, or I wouldn't say much more powerful, it's much more popular. Even that, like, you still have to find these answers. Your opponent has to not have Plaza, and you have to deal with the other creatures. So in a perfect world, yeah, one of these ossifications is always safe for Shieldred. That's just not how it works out all the time.
This to me is just fun Magic in general. Like,
that's just standard right now. It's
yeah,
great Magic.
3-4 different abilities that are relevant on each side of the battlefield. Like, life total slowly ticking down.
Yeah.
Both sides having big top decks. Like this is fun to watch.
This is one of the best standards I have ever played. And that is a crazy, thing to bring up because, well, I've been playing standard, for like 12, 14 years or so. And there's not many that beat this diversity, that beat, how really fun the games are and how even everything really seems to me. Like, it makes choosing a deck really difficult, and it makes playing all the games difficult, which just leads to a fun, healthy metagame.
So it looks like Sam decided to double block there, force Cody to use the Plaza. And he may have done that just to try to clear the path to finally get rid of Shieldred, but we'll see.
Yeah. And just to deal with the Plaza. Yeah, exactly. To get rid of that. But now Kaido ticking up every single turn. That card has just done so much work here. I had to have drawn at least like 4 cards, looted away like 2 cards, and it's just been an all-star in this matchup. And I do expect that to be one of the main cards that Cody has for white mid-range decks like this.
Yeah, and if there's a sweeper from Sam's side, this is kind of one of the few chances that you're going to get, I guess, as close as you can to shields down to try to go for it.
I think the main card here is Sanctuary Warden. Sanctuary Warden just feels like it should be a legendary creature, but it is not. So if you reflectioning a Sanctuary Warden is one of the most powerful things you can do in standard. You can put 2 counters on the copy, then you remove 1, draw a card, create a token, attack with it, remove, draw a card, and then it goes away. But you get so much value off it. It's just incredible.
All right, so Sam did play another restoration, search up a plains. We're tapping 5 mana. There's an angel again, and no answer for it here, it looks like. Oh, wait, no, we are tapping. There's another Urtai.
Yep, and that is definitely with it on the stack. That's a counterspell mode if I've ever seen it. But with that 1 mana extra, Sam would have just been able to do that play that I was just saying.
Yep.
And then this game just changes completely. But second Urtai, and I believe there is only 2 Urtais in the deck. So there was one other Disdainful Stroke or that second Urtai as the only outs for Sam's second Sanctuary Warden. Only has 2 in the 75. So
Sam goes down to 8 here from that extra 2 damage. Actually, no, it looks like he's going lower than that.
I mean, that easily could just be Cody picking up the game because of that. That was such a huge card to have on this turn.
Yeah, that Urtai was... actually, both of them were well-timed when he drew them.
Yeah, Urtai is such a cool card. Such a well-designed card.
All right, here we go. Cody's going to gain 2 more. And again, this looks like 3 cards maybe left in hand and a pile of mana here.
Yeah. I feel like activating Gix is like this standards version of hard casting Shark Typhoon. It's just something I feel like we all want to see.
It always feels like I still had all these, but whatever.
yeah, there we go.
I mean, we still have Kaito that could be triggered if you want to ultimate that. Like, there's a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, or just keep drawing cards. It's looked so good to just be drawing more cards than, the Boros midrange deck here and just really outvalue the value deck.
Oh, getting rid of the reflection.
Lauren, a great pickup here.
Yep. Copying a token.
Not the ideal target. Sanctuary Warden would have been a much cooler target from Sam Black fans for sure.
But let's look at the upside, though, if you're on Sam's side, right? We managed to get through 2 Urtais. So if you do get something that's a bigger spell here, you have a chance, a high percentage chance that's going to get through.
Okay, there's the Kaido emblem. And here comes 3 attackers. So if anything connects, you just get to go find a Rafine. I think that's the thing that you would find right away. It's not even that good, though, to be honest. Like, the emblem on Kaido is really not impressive, but the first 2 abilities and the phasing out abilities, that's really where that card lives. This may be like the first or second time I've ever seen that ultimate, to be honest.
I will say this, though. If Sam is able to sweep the board here, you do still have that emblem looming for the rest of the game.
Okay, so we do see that red dice on the table that someone keeps adjusting. Usually that means they're in extra turns.
Yep.
So I would think that this game is going to be decided here in a couple of turns. Maybe we'll have that dice a little bit more on camera for future matches to give us all a little bit better picture. But either way, now I think Sam's game plan changes. It's like, well, obviously a loss is not great. It's pretty much a loss for both players, unless if you get 3 draws, then essentially one of them to win. But that is not what players are looking to get here. So it's not great, but if you still end the day at 6-2-1, that's still better than being 6-3. So Sam is really trying to probably play
here.
Going to 1. Okay. Wow.
I mean, I guess you might as well, right? You're in extra turns. You're just looking for something.
There is lay down arms to be able to deal with Shieldred here.
But I don't know if that's enough now that you're at 1.
I believe we saw Mondrak as the other draw. I could be wrong.
Yeah, but unfortunately, there's no way to make another token, I don't think.
No, I don't see it either. It doesn't look great. You can draw a card off Bankbuster. Now to draw an extra card to maybe find something else. Yeah, you need 3 blockers here to be able to survive. So this has to hit something.
It looked like another Bankbuster. Yeah.
Another redraw, I guess.
Problem is you're just running out of mana to do stuff here.
Now you're running out of mana. Yeah, that's the problem. So this has to find something big. Archangel of Wrath. That could do it.
Depopulate.
Oh,
how savage.
Oh, man. Okay, so if this is, let's say, turn 3...
Oh, no.
Then Cody will not have another opportunity to attack Sam for lethal, and this will just be a draw.
Yeah, with exactly 4 mana left to tap, too.
Yeah. So it does look like Cody draws a card there. We know there's no Urtais left in the deck, so there's no end step creature that you can play at 1. So now it just has to be, can Cody find a way to attack?
Was that another Shieldred? Yeah. All right. That does it. Wow. That was a bit of a struggle from both sides. Yeah. And honestly, it looked like that was kind of going to be in control for Sam at one point, where he had just that huge board that went like side to side on the screen, and he just didn't get there.
Just didn't get there. Dealing with both of those Sanctuary Warrens was the tension point, and it looks like we were probably heading to turn number 5 there, where Shieldred would have won on turn 6. But it was just a little bit too late, and looks like that one probably ended in a draw. So what an incredible match. Always unfortunate if it ends that way, but that was still really, really fun to watch. So have no fear. We have plenty of more Magic coming. That's it for me and Daquan here for a couple of rounds. But next, we're going to be tagging in Monty DeVuti and Todd Anderson to take over for us. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Magic.